G'day, I'm Hildy. I'm going to show you how you can become your own piano orchestra using live looping. So I'm going to show you the process that I went through to perform 3 different pieces using the apps Loopy HD and Loopy Pro. These apps are amazing because they've just made live looping accessible to anyone. The first method is using Loopy HD to set up and record a simple arrangement. The arrangement has got just a basic layered texture and the loops are all the same length. And there's enough time in the music to be able to use your hands to trigger the recordings in the various loops. The second method is for another fairly straightforward arrangement. So the loops are the same length and it's a basic layered texture, but this time the piece has got lots and lots of notes. It's much more complicated to play and it's not practical to be able to use your hands to trigger the loops. So I'm going to use a sequencing function to be able to do that hands-free. The third method is for an arrangement with a more complicated structure. It's got different sections, the loops are not all the same length, and there's some pre-recorded elements. There are links to the performances of each of these arrangements in the description below, so you can check them out if you like in full. But now let's get on to our first arrangement. This song is called Summer 78. It's from the film Goodbye Lenin, with the soundtrack by Tiersen. It has a beautiful piano part, and in the film score there's a really lovely layered orchestral backing that builds up throughout the piece. I wanted to replicate that layered sound and the build-up of the texture, but using just the piano. So I put together an arrangement that has basically 5 phrases in 8-bar lengths. I'm going to open Loopy HD, and we see the round circles set up and empty, ready for our music. Each of these circles represents one recording slot or one loop. I'll tap on the sidebar here on the arrow and just reset my session to make sure that I don't have any details saved from previous sessions. Then I'm going to scroll through this menu here and set my time signature to 4/4 and my tempo to 103. I'll make sure the metronome is on. Then I need to set the loop length that I want to 8 bars. Everything should be good to go now for my performance. Before we begin, I'm going to press the little triangle arrow button again to bring up some more options, and I will press the record button so that I capture all the audio I'm about to record. Making sure the overall play button is on, then I'm going to press the loop that I want to record into, simply by pressing the circle. You'll see that a little flashing orange light starts to go around the circle. This is indicating the count in. The loops will always keep you within an 8-bar cycle. And so if, for example, you press that record button 2 bars into the cycle, you'll get a 6-bar countdown. Whereas if you pressed it 2 beats before the end of a cycle, you'll only have a 2-beat count in. So here I am listening to the metronome and getting ready to play my first loop. Here we go. Now while I'm playing this loop, I know that I need to trigger the next loop to get ready to record on the next cycle when I want to play the next melody into it. So I use my free hand to trigger the next loop. And you'll see that the orange light starts going around the circle again, as it will wait until the next cycle before opening up the recording for you. As soon as the 8-bar cycle finishes, the recording loop will close off and then will automatically begin playing itself. Okay, so now I'm here recording the first melody over the original accompaniment. Once I've finished those 8 bars, I'm going to let it play itself again for another 8 bars. This gives me time to set up the next loop to record and to also tell the second loop that I want it to stop at the end of this cycle. So while you're playing, you can tap on any loop to get it to stop. It won't stop immediately, it will stop at the end of the cycle, but if you do want it to stop immediately, you can tap it again. Now I'm recording the second phrase of the music. If I wanted to, I could just record both these lines together in here, but I've decided to do them separately to help with the layered feel. So I want to record the melody line first. While I'm playing it, I trigger the accompaniment loop to be ready. Then I record the accompaniment. doing this, I trigger the next loop to take the next recording, and this process just continues on now until I have completed the 5th stave of music that I want included. Once I have recorded the final loop, I let it all loop one more time. This gives me the chance to trigger all the loops to finish playing at the end of the cycle by tapping on each one. I can also add some extra live music during this repetition too if I like. And then I finish with the final unison note. And that's one way of doing a live looping performance on the piano. You can now go into the recording section, press the stop on the record, and then find the audio you just recorded to review it. You can also share it here as well.